They spoke the words of God as they were carried along by the Spirit of God. I'm going to show us how the Holy Ghost has not stopped carrying men. There's a manner and a way in which he carried the men of old when they were writing the Bible. That one has stopped. But the process by which the Holy Ghost takes a man on a journey, makes that man more conscious of spiritual reality, changes the scope of that man's operation, imparts faith into that man's heart, and gives that man words to speak. That process has not stopped. And that's part of what Paul was introducing us to when he says, he that speaketh in an unknown tongue, he edifies himself. That word edify in the Greek is oikodomio, and the word literally means to build up. Have you seen a skyscraper, an edifice? That's the picture that word has, oikodomio, when you use it. That as you speak in tongues, you are building, you are constructing. It's picture it, so you are building a house, and your cement finished, and you began to speak in tongues, and cement came. When you needed block, you were speaking in tongues, and block came. When you needed sharp sand, you were speaking in tongues, sharp sand came. When you needed more manpower, as you were speaking in tongues, manpower came. That's what happens when you speak in tongues. You are building up yourself. Everything that is needed for your spiritual progress per time, praying in the Spirit can make them available. Your idea of spiritual growth is not complete until you have learned how to speak in other tongues. When you do so, you are edified, you are quickened, you are built up, you become sharper, better, wiser, stronger, faster in the things of God. You can begin to see beyond the physical realm as you give yourself to praying in tongues much and often. Your advantage is not in this realm. Are you aware? The thing that should make you strong, your source of strength, is not in this realm. There's a source of strength, and the only place it's found is in the Spirit. That's where it is, and you must find it. And the way to find it is by oikodomio, by building. By building. There are things you can see when you stand on the ground floor. You can only see the things that are on the ground. When you stand on the first floor of a building, you can now maybe see slightly above the fence. When you stand on the second floor, you can now see above the fence to the end of the street. When you stand on the seventh, oh my God, I went to see my father in the Lord last week, and in the hotel where he was on, I think, the 20th floor. And the lift that took me up, the more I went up, it felt like I was leaving this earth. And as I got to the 20th floor, there was a glass on the lift. I could see outside. The design was very meticulous. And when I was on the 20th floor and I looked out, I had mounted up with wings. I could see Lagos. I could see Lagos. That's what happens when you pray in tongues. When you get to the 20th floor, you can see the end. You can see the attacks that Satan had planned to send your way when you are 30 years old. You can see the ones that he has planted to come your way when you are 40 years old. You will see the one that is going for your wife. You can stop it. You will see the one. You might not be married, but you might see the attacks Satan has sent to your children, and you can stop it. That's what happens when you speak in tongues. On the ground for too long. You have been on the ground for too long. Have you been on an airplane before and it's about to land Lagos, and you look around, your eye view, suddenly Lagos becomes small in your eyes. It becomes small in your eyes. When you are standing in Shobol or standing in Masha roundabout, you are seeing Asman and boys can collect your phone. All kinds of things that are only obtainable on the ground are around you. But when you mount up with wings, the thing is, everything becomes small. There's a calling on your life and you don't pray in tongues. That calling will always look so big and impossible in your eyes. But when you begin to mount up, what happens is that your perspective, where you see from, it changes. You begin to see through his eyes from an elevated position. There are some circumstances in your life, you are praying for them to end. God is praying for you to change. When you change, they become small. When they become small, like Jesus will teach his disciples, he says, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you, not God on your behalf, not the spirits on your behalf, not the angels of your calling or the angels of your books, you will say to this mountain, be thou removed and be thou cast